Okay, let's look at data like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and open this NST EST 2014-01 XLS file. So that's an Excel file. Open that. Okay, so now here is a file. Right, so that's population estimation that you downloaded from census.gov website. Okay, so we have data in this fashion. There is some table titles at the top, and so on. So you want to bring this into Tableau, and we want to use it. Right, so Tableau expects the data to be each value to be in a single column, right. So if you have population is one variable, there should be one column of population, right, and then these should be, okay, so now we have the year of the population. We don't want, let's suppose that we don't care about these estimates. What we want are these. Okay, so all of these population numbers must be strung together in one single column, and then maybe you can have an adjacent column where each of these numbers will be identified as for 2010, and then this set of numbers will be identified in the next column, adjacent column, as 2011, and so on. So you will have another column which says say year, and then that will identify which year it is from. So, but if you bring this into Tableau, it's not going to come in that fashion. So you have to do some cleaning up. So let's see how we're going to do that. So let's close this out. All right, so I'm going to start. Let's close that too. Okay, so this is an Excel file. So let's go and open that Excel file. Okay, so we're going to connect to it. All right, so here this is in metadata screen. So let's look at the data itself. Okay, so if you look at the data, then you see that the first row is table with the row header and this and that and everything. So this is the first row that should identify the name of the column, right? Column identifier, and then the rest of it should be the data, but the data shouldn't be in this form. It should be strung together, just one column for population. Okay, so there is multi-step process of cleaning this up, and Tableau has what is called data interpreter. So if you check that, okay, Tableau will go and clean it up for you a little bit. It's not going to do everything, okay, but whatever is obvious is going to do it for you, and that's a lot. So here now you have the correct column headings, and then you have the data. It's all in the correct columns and so on, but it reflects what was in Excel. Okay, and it stripped all the extraneous values and so on. So it goes all the way down to Puerto Rico. Now here is a file that Tableau creates, which tells you what it did. Okay, so you click that, it will tell you what are the operations that it performed. Okay, so it has two tabs. The first tab is common. I mean, it's the same thing that you'll see in every time that you do a data interpreter. Okay, so here is a legend as to what each operation means. So, and if you click the second tab, so it color coded what it did. So, the first color code, so here there is, if it is blank, no color, then the data is ignored and not included as part of the data source. So, that is what happened to these two. Okay, it did not, it just didn't care about these. And then that one is data interpreted as column headers, field names. So, that is what you see. So, here these two are interpreted as field names, and that is where these field names are coming from, right. And then green is your data is interpreted as values of your data source. So, that is what these are. Okay. So, these are all data, and then so these are no color background. So, that means what? Those were ignored. All right. So, in other words, if you click that, it will tell you what cleaning operations Tableau performed. Okay. All right. So, now we are still not through yet. We do not care about these two. So, we can hide them like what we did for a field name in the previous example. So, control click or shift click and highlight these two, all right, and hide. Okay. So, that is hidden. Now, these are the 5 columns of population data that you want them to be strung up, right, in one column, and that operation Tableau calls it pivoting. So, you highlight all of that. So, you do shift click the first one and then move to the last column and do a shift click. So, that will highlight all the columns for you. Okay. And right click, and there is something called pivot there. So, you do pivot. Okay. That one. So, now everything is pivoted, right. You increase the column width. Okay. We are still not done, because there are a couple of things that we have to do. One is here, this field is supposed to be the year, right, which year this one is for. Actually, I am going to go back, right. I am going to go back and correct this, because the textbook wants you to name these as 2011. So, this is for 2011. So, 2011 actually exists already. So, which means we will start from the rightmost and go work backwards. So, this is supposed to be 2015. This is 2014, 2013, 2012, 2011. Okay. And then we will do the pivot. Okay. So, if you want to undo something that we have done, here is the undo button, the left pointing arrow. Yeah.
So, why won't we just split them? Use the split function?
Yeah, we are going to do that next. Okay. So, let us go ahead and pivot. All right. So, now this field is supposed to be year. So, we do not want all of this other thing like population estimate as of, and all we want is this last 4 digits, right? So we can do that using split. I don't know whether split will work here. Okay, what happened to split? Split just took 2 digits from here, and we don't want that. We want the whole thing, 4 digits from the end, right? So we have to do a custom split. If the automatic split doesn't work, then you go back and do a custom split, and custom split will work like the data text to data in Excel. So here we want to use that, okay, and then which part we want to keep? We want the last part. We don't want the early part, we want the last part, okay. So that's the custom split that we want to do. Okay. So now we have the so we can now go ahead and close hide this. We don't need that anymore, right? All we want is this, and let's go ahead and name this as here. And there is one more thing we have to do for this, and right now the field type is label. Okay, that needs to be changed to what? Date. Okay. So now we are done with this. So we have the, and here let's go ahead and name this column as population. All right. All right. So there is one. Now we have to clean up this column. Now this column has a dot in front of the name of the state, right? So, and then these are not information for the state, but these are combined totals for different regions. So let's go ahead and do a split and see whether it splits the state names correctly. Okay. So now we have state names have been split up correctly, right? And then these are the ones that are left out because there is no dot in front of it, so it's all left out. All right. Okay. So now we can hide this. We don't want this anymore. Hide it. And this one needs to be, okay, you have to change the type to what? Okay, it's not a string, so we have to change it to one of the geographic roles. So what role should we select? State/province. So then that's okay. So now we are ready to visualize. So now you have cleaned up everything, right? And then if you bring in, well, we have to give a name, so forgot about that. So that should be named state. Okay. So now if you bring in state, all right, so we have, there is one unknown, And what is that unknown? It's the, so remember in the data, the regions, okay, south, north, west, east, and then the entire United States and Puerto Rico, they were all left as blank. So that blank, okay, they are all blank, so that's the one unknown blank or null value, right? So we can filter that out, so we don't have those blank ones, trying to be plotted. And of course, after this, you can add.
So whenever there's an unrecognized blank error, we just use filter data.
I use, yeah, that's right. You can use one of the three, but I think here the best thing for us to do is to just ignore those, okay, filter them out is probably the best thing to do. So I just clicked filter data. Okay. So now if I bring in population into color, then it gives you the population color coded, where the population is darker color for larger population. All right. So this is cleaning data, data that is in tabular form, say like a table. Okay, how do you convert it into a form that Tableau can use? Okay, and this is something that, especially when you have third-party data or data that you get from some report or something, okay, so it's going to be in a table format. And for us to do analysis, then you have to make it into a format suitable for visualization. Okay.